Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back. I told you I was trying to get in the swing of things, so you'll see them periodically or as often as I can. Today I'm going to make my version. Now I always make sure to say my version of pork pozole. Now it's in no way in any form of fashion to offend anybody. This is the way I make it. Part of it's traditional, part of it's my own little twist. You can feel free to tweak it as you please, change the ingredients to fit your taste. You can increase, decrease the heat level as I have done in this recipe. But we're going to get started. I'm going to show you an ingredients first as always and walk you through the process. And as always, like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you want me to fix. Peace. Okay, so we're going to kind of go around the world. I'm going to show first my pork. I have here 2 pieces of pork spine. It's pork on the bone. Again, you can use any type of pork that you choose. The good ones are the ones that have the bones because you get a lot of flavor and it helps with thickening of the soup. I also have some boneless pork. I also have some boneless pork here as well that I'm going to use, and again you can switch up whichever pork you choose. I have my chicken broth, chicken stock, whatever you choose to use. I have my leeks. Again, you can use leeks, onions, scallions, shallots. The recipe calls for onions, but I have some leeks left over from my other recipe, so I'm going to use that up. I have about 6 cloves of garlic. Again, you guys know how I am about my garlic. And this is all not going directly in the soup itself. I'll let you know where some of that is going in a second. I have my garlic powder. I have my Mexican oregano. I have a few bay leaves, my ancho chili pepper powder. The recipe calls for different chili pepper, actually like the whole chilies, and then you grind them, but again, for me convenience, I use this. You're welcome to use whichever peppers you like, but I really particularly like this, and I've made this dish before and I like this one in it. I have my sazon, and I'm going to add some salt and pepper as well. Now in here, I've already gotten a little ahead of you guys because this process takes a while. I have some tomatillos, a jalapeno, 2 poblanos, and parsley. Now the recipe calls for cilantro, and I didn't have any cilantro, so I'm going to improvise. And I'm not a huge fan of cilantro, so if I use it, I usually cut it half and half. I usually do half parsley, half cilantro, but the traditional recipe calls for cilantro, so again, it's all a taste if you choose to do so. And as you can see, they're black. What I've done was I've charred them over my stove. If you have a good broiler, you can put them under your broiler to get them charred. The reason why you char them is to add a little bit more flavor, and it helps remove some of the skin. What I'm going to do is, for the peppers at least, I'm going to get all the black stuff off, pull the skin off, get out the stems and the seeds. These ingredients in here, with the addition of a few of the cloves of garlic, are for my salsa verde, which is going to go inside of my pozole. There are 2 types that you can make. You can either make rojo or verde. I'm going to do the verde because it's a little bit milder in my opinion. It's a lot milder, and you know, the people in my house, they don't like a lot of spice, so that's why I'm going to make this version. But all of these ingredients here, with the addition of a little bit of garlic and the chicken stock, are going to get pureed. We're gonna walk through that later once we get to that process. Also, you guys, I forgot this, my oil for today. If you all don't already know this about me, I am a oil and spice fanatic. Any new oils, hence the avocado oil in the last recipe, any new spices, you'll see. I do have a few reviews where I get new items such as this olive oil. I usually do a quick review on them, but this is the olive oil that I chose to use for this dish. It's a Hispania, as you can see, olive oil. This one is really, really, really good. I love all types of olive oil, and I love the specialty ones as well. But this one is a really good olive oil. We're going to use this to sear our meat off, and actually we're going to use it to cook the salsa verde in as well, because that needs to cook over the stove for about 5 minutes before you add it to the soup. But yes, this right here is a godsend. I love this oil. I can't wait to get more of it. So we've basically given you an overview of all the ingredients. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. Okay, so I have taken my meat and seasoned it with a little bit of the seasonings that we're using in the soup itself. I've got a little bit of that olive oil that I showed you and a little butter. We're just going to sear the meat off. I have more meat than this, but you don't want to overcrowd the pan because you don't want it to boil. You want it to get a good sear on it to help with the flavoring and the tenderness of the meat. It's going to eventually simmer, but right now we're just trying to get some texture. And guys, forgive me, but I forgot the most important thing. The hominy. Good grief, how did I forget that? That's going to be added as well. I forgot that with my ingredient list. What we're going to do, we're going to brown this in batches. We're going to take this out, and then we're going to start sauteing the onions, and we're going to add everything back into the pot with the stock, the rest of our seasoning blend, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with the tomatillo sauce, or my salsa verde, which I blended up with my handy dandy blender here. It's a lot, but trust me, you can freeze it or keep it in the refrigerator for up to a week if you don't use a lot of it in the dish. But we're going to show you how we're going to prepare this before it goes inside the actual soup. So we'll see you in a few. Okay guys, in this pan I have the pepper and tomatillo mixture. There was a little bit of oil in the pan. We're going to let that cook for about 5 minutes to help develop the flavor. You don't want the heat too high. You don't want it to come to a boil. You just want to give it a good sizzle. And in this pan, I have my leeks. And you see all that down at the bottom? That's the good stuff. It's not burnt. It's from the seasoning on the pork. But it's the good bits. And we're going to get all of that up once we add the chicken stock. Trust me, it's just the browning from the seasonings in the pan. But we're going to cook these until they're tender. Then we're going to add the stock and all of the rest of the ingredients back into the pot. See you in a minute. So, you guys missed a couple of steps, sorry. But in the pot, I've added back the pork, as you can see. I added a bay leaf. I've added my Mexican oregano, which I crushed in my hands a little bit to help release the natural oils. I have the whole Mexican oregano. You can buy the already ground or the loose leaf Mexican oregano, but that's the kind that I chose. And I just lost it somewhere in there, is my bay leaf. This is another variation that I don't do that the recipe calls for. It calls for you to put the hominy in now and let that cook for about 15 minutes, and then you add the salsa verde, let it cook for about an hour and a half. I don't like the hominy to be super soft, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the meat cook for about 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes, I'll give you a better angle, after about 15 minutes I'm going to add the hominy in, and then we're going to add the salsa verde and let it cook for about an hour and a half. As you can see, the little bubbles are starting to peek up. I'm going to put the lid on it and let it boil for, like I said, let it simmer, excuse me, for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to add the hominy. And I drain my hominy because I used the 2 quarts of chicken stock, so I don't want to add a super amount of liquid in it because I want it to still be flavorful. I want you to get the full body, but you may need to add a little bit more liquid as it cooks once you put the hominy in, because it may soak up a little bit of the liquid, but you'll see that as it goes along. Okay, so about after 15 minutes of letting the pork simmer by itself, as you can tell, I've already added, I used 1.5 cans of pozole, 29-ounce can. So I use 1.5 cans. Again, you can adjust this to your family size, or if you're if you really love pozole, the hominy itself, you can add 2 full cans. You can add less. If you add less, I suggest maybe adding some vegetables to counteract, because otherwise it's just broth with meat and a few pieces of hominy. But I added 1.5 cans to it, and I added my salsa verde. I didn't add the full amount that you saw because it was quite a bit. I added about half of it. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn this on a low simmer and let this cook for about 1.5 to 2 hours, or until your pork is tender. And it's already pretty starting to get tender right now, but we want to let it cook all the way through for about 1.5 hours or so. We'll come back when we're done. Okay, everybody, here we go. Finished product. I have my pozole in here with a little bit of shredded cabbage and carrots, fresh yellow onions or white onions. I have a little bit of chopped up avocado, a little lime on the side. You can also add extra cilantro, parsley to garnish. You can even sprinkle it with a little bit of hot sauce if you like, a little just something to bring a little heat. I sprinkle a little chili over it, and I've taken some regular tortillas. That was a little dark, as you can see, but some regular tortillas and fry them in some oil, or you can buy the already fried tortillas from the store. I like doing them myself because I can control the salt, but however you choose, it's up to you. Either one will work just fine. But what I'll do when I get ready to eat it, I'll take the lime and spread it over a little bit over the top to give it a little bit more flavor. You can add or subtract as many garnishes as you like. Some people also put radishes on top. I don't particularly care for them, that's why I've left them out. But you can put as much or as little as you like and adjust the taste. Alright guys, as always, thank you for watching. See you next time.